So another question that I get asked a lot is how high can helicopters fly? What are the limiting factors on it? The altitude limits. Well, again, this is another thing that it really depends on the model of helicopter. The model of helicopter will be designed in terms of engine power, in terms of aerodynamics, in terms of blade design, all that kind of thing. Would say, well, what's the maximum height it can get to in tested conditions, in ideal conditions? Now, some helicopters might go up to 10,000, 14,000. Others might be 20,000, 22, whatever it is, 1,000 feet. It really depends. So each individual helicopter will be tested to a certain point on blade design and engine power, and also fuselage design as well. Above 10,000 feet, then the pilots will require supplemental oxygen as well to go up to those higher altitudes, or certainly have something oxygen in reserve carry with them so they can momentarily go above those altitudes as well. Anything, I believe, up to 13,000 feet, they'll definitely need something above that as well. So, they need oxygen above that as well. So it's, it really depends. You've got to talk about the helicopter limitation, but also the physical limitation on the pilots as well. But it always comes down to the design of the blades, how much thrust that they can produce, and then how much engine power that they can produce as well to overcome the weight of the helicopter, and also to deal with the thinner air. So as you're gaining in altitude, you're going to get thinner air, but also it really depends on the pressure of the day and on the temperature of the day. So when they're testing helicopters, they're going to be under known conditions, right? And they're going to say, okay, this is our data, and we're going to do this on a particular day. Let's say on a standard day, 1013, 2992 hectopascals, or you're going to have, or inches of mercury, I'd say 1013 hectopascals, or 2992 inches of mercury, or you're going to have 15 degrees Celsius. That's your basically standard day in terms of pressure, in terms of temperature, right? And then they would test it up, and they would say, right, okay, well, if it's any colder than that, you might get better conditions, right? If the air is a lot more dense on a given day, if it's a really high pressure on a day, then you're going to get better performance out of the blades and also out of the engine. But they'll certainly test it to a certain point and say, okay, well, this helicopter is only able to fly up to this altitude in the aircraft, in the helicopter flight manual, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that it can't go beyond that. It really depends. So let's say, we've flown helicopters before where you strip everything out, and it's just bare bones helicopter. And some helicopters are designed like that. Basically in the 70s, 60s, 70s, had a helicopter Aerospatiale, which is the Llama, which is basically an engine with a fuel tank on a grill, basically on a girder frame essentially. And that was designed for high altitude, heavy lifting at the time. But it is very, very basic in terms of what it was. But if you take any helicopter, strip everything down so the weight of it is down, then you've got a much better power to weight ratio. So therefore, you're going to go up and up and up and up. You can go higher and higher and higher. If the temperature is really cold on one day and the pressure is really high on one day, then the performance is going to go so much more. So let's just say if you're flying in, towards the Arctic or the Antarctic or something like that, and you're on a really cold day, but it's a really dry day, and you've got clear blue skies or something like that, you can throw the performance figures out the window because you're going to get so much more performance. Conversely, if you've got a really hot day, a really humid day, really low pressure day, then that's going to work against you as well. So obviously, the performance figures on a helicopter is what has been tested, but also there's some latitude in there as well. But there's always going to be something beyond that, and you don't know what it is going to be until you actually you test it or you try it. But in terms of what is allowed to do, how high it's been registered to fly, then that will be in the flight manual according to how it's been tested and how it's been certified to fly as well. And that is all down to the weight of the helicopter, the design of the helicopter, the blades design, the engine power. The engine power changes according to the atmospheric conditions in terms of pressure and temperature, air density. The effectiveness of the efficiency of the blades is exactly the same. How clean the blades are. So this, how much inherent turbulence is created on the blades as well, on the fuselage. So it's lots of different things. What's the weight of the helicopter? So if you can imagine, you want to go and rescue some mountaineers on top of a mountain. Well, do you think you really want to go up there on a really hot day with low pressure and a really, really heavy helicopter that you've got lots of equipment in? Or you're going to say, actually, do you know what? We're going to the top of a mountain. Ideally, we want these mountaineers to be there on a really cold day, and also we're going to strip everything out of this helicopter that we don't need, and we're going to go up as light as possible, and also maybe just have the fuel reduced as much as possible, so that so that's what you do. You'll be looking at those variables to say, how can we maximize the margins here to make us more effective there, and can we reach them? And in some cases, the helicopter or the helicopter rescue crew will not be able to get to wherever the mountaineers are, or wherever the high altitude rescue is required. They'll have to land lower because they can't go any higher, and then either the team from the helicopter have to go up and get the stranded mountaineers, whatever, or most likely you'll get a mountain rescue team or other people on the mountain, other hikers, let's say, they will bring the people down to the rescue helicopter. I mean, that's essentially the way it works, right? And let's say Everest, for example, you've got different base camps, right? And the helicopter will only go up to certain base camps, and thereafter won't be able to get any further. And this is why, lots of people who are stranded up there, well, they're left up there, right? You read the stories of the mountaineers that have been lost over the years, and it's just too difficult to bring them down. It's too dangerous to bring people down on that, and some people are rescued, some people aren't. But there's a limitation on the helicopter and how high it can go.